Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video where I've got a longer one for you today. This is also going to be part 1 of 2 with this Goon Lantern Altaria team. And it produces some really high quality battles. I think Lantern is a pretty underrated safe swap in the meta right now. Trevenant lurks for sure, but I think a lot of the Noctowl and Pelipper cores, like double flyer teams, have really scared away Trevenant a bit. And even if you safe swap Lantern with this team and they counter you with a Trev, Lantern can put in some work. Like, the Trev can't really completely farm you down. It's going to have to throw a seed bomb. It's going to have to potentially even use a shield if they get too greedy. As we made a nice catch, but let's see if the catch did any good for us, because now we're countered by a G-Fisk here. And unfortunately, that catch puts us into double rock slide range. So kind of like I talked about in one of my previous videos this past week, sometimes catching can be a little overrated. But we did save our Goon, which could be very vital, because I think we have like a cross chop banked or so. So we're going to come in with Goon. We're going to get off this cross chop, and Lantern is fully healthy, and we've already seen 2 ground types, so I'm feeling like chances are Lantern's going to have some nice play in the back. I decide to let Goon go. I come in Lantern. G-Fisk doesn't have that much energy, and he goes for the catch on Swampert, and this is huge for me because it gives me a full spark down. Now I've got all the energy in the world, and this has all of a sudden become just much more comfortable. I'm going to go for a Surf here, and then potentially Spark down. I actually undercharged the Surf, and he actually shields, which caught me off guard. I thought he would save it for the G-Fisk. But this is really good for me. I just want to make sure I get off this to get rid of Noctowl, because G-Fisk would have to Rock Slide bait and then Earthquake. So, like, even if he was at 100 energy, which he wasn't, would be tough to get that done. And there we go. By the way, if you're watching this video, I am probably in Arlington, Texas at the moment, and who knows, best case scenario, I made day 2 in the tournament, and worst case scenario, I did not make day 2. Hopefully I didn't go 0-2, as Goon gets a nice lead here. I'm a big fan of Goon just because I think it's a core breaker for a lot of teams. There are a lot of teams that are double weak to it, right? Because it's going to beat most of the ghosts as a counter user. So it beats like the ghosts, it beats the steals, it beats most of the normal types, not all of them. Obviously, like Vigoroth, it wouldn't beat. But that unique typing and moveset allows it to core break a lot of teams. And if people aren't prepared for it, it can put in so much work. I'm going to get off my Night Slash here. We know that there's a wall rain in the back as well. But I'm okay letting Goon go down, because we do have a Lantern for that wall rain. Wall rain gets 4 powder snows of farm, which isn't ideal. They throw right as they reach the Earthquake. I'm going to respect it, knowing a bait is possible. And look at that. They actually went for the Hail Mary. And here comes a Sableye. Altaria generally beats Sableye pretty comfortably. Just kind of outbulks it. And the Dragon Breaths are just more oppressive than the Shadow Claws, as you see. And 2 Foul Plays doesn't quite KO. I decided to go for Sky Attack here because I feel like it would almost KO. And I just kind of want to save my shield for Lantern anyway. So we're going to let Altaria go down. And the Surf might be just enough from this range. Let's see. But yeah, I also have a confession to you guys. On the video I posted on like Wednesday night, Thursday, it was the team I used to reach expert, and I actually fibbed on the IVs of those Pokemon in the graphic, because I didn't that team secretly, and this team essentially that I'm using here, made up my Arlington team. And I'm telling you this, I'm recording this before I've left for Arlington. But I cheekily, the teams I used on stream this past week were the teams I ended up using, or I planned on using in Arlington. So once again, I'm hoping to do well, but these tournaments are so tough, man. They're so beyond tough. It's really anybody's game, and anything can happen. So you got to go in just with a positive but realistic mindset. And here we are. We had the boost in the lead, so our opponent hard swapped into their fighter. I'm thinking it might be a double fighter team with like a Medicham in back. I got a shield from the Sky Attack. They're going to get off a Night Slash here. I'm hoping they doesn't get to another one. And he does, and that's huge for me. Now, Noctowl's either going to have to eat a Sky Attack or throw a Sky Attack of its own. It's a Lantern, and it's a Water Gun Lantern, which is even better for us because these fast moves are going to be resisted by both of our back Pokemon. And now we're up 2 shields. And does our opponent top left here? They do. I probably would have top left it as well, to be honest. Like, 2 shield Lantern is brutal for his Water Gun Lantern and his Noctowl. So I think that's a fine top left. We get a Mr. Lickitung as the reward. And I'll skip ahead a little bit here. Looks like the next player we face is Baby. He's a terrific battler from Chile. Beat me in Sylph World Season 3. Really solid battler. Noctowl lead. If you guys decide to run this team, I typically play out, Noctowl lead. It's not the best lead in the world. Goon has to commit a shield to win this. Noctowl wins the zeros, so usually what happens is I commit 1 shield eventually, and I can like counter down, come out with a Night Slash. This is probably like a rank 1 or a high rank Noctowl because it's a little bit healthier than they normally are. He aggressively swaps into Reggie, which confuses the heck out of me. And I want to like preserve my Goon. So I'm like, ugh, man, I probably should have caught there. And let's see if that's a costly mistake based on whatever could be in back. If it's double steal, I think we're in a tough spot, and we really should have saved that Goon. But let's see. I also Surf, whereas Thunderbolt would have KO'd, so this is a really sloppy game from me. I think I'm making all kinds of misjudgments. I do get a Spark down, which is kind of nice. And let's see what's going to come in. I can't imagine. Okay, it's Swampert, so I think we're okay. I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to speak too soon because the Noctowl still was fairly healthy. So we're going to throw a Sky Attack here, which I presume will get the first Protect Shield. We get the shields. Another move coming through from Swampert. Not going to respect these. A Sky Attack would do more than a Hydro Cannon, so I kind of want to save it for the Sky Attack. And another move coming through, and I'm really trying to decide where do I expend the shield. I'm not gonna shield. In comes Noctowl. I'm gonna throw this Sky Attack to try and get his last shield off of him. Lantern swaps in, goes for a Surf. Is the Noctowl in Surf range? I'm not sure. It is. And then we're 1 off. So just a favorable team comp for us in terms of the back. We were able to just line up things the way we wanted. If our opponent had fought for Switch, things would have been bad because it would have been Reggie on Altaria and Swampert on Lantern. So if our opponent fought for Swap, would have been a little bit tougher for us, but they gave up Switch, which was kind of a weird play, to be honest. Maybe they were like reading a different type of backline. Kill Smiling. Weird name is the opponent. Goon versus Swampert. So Swampert wins like the 0 shield here, I think, because 2 Hydros KOs in Great League. If Goon can 2 shield its way through this, because the counters are going to add up a lot more than the mud shots. I'm going to let this first one go through. I know he wins CMP, so I decide not to throw, and he actually swaps in knock, which once again makes our job a little bit easier because we can line up things the way we want. Lantern with a really comfortable matchup here against Noctowl. Look how bulky Noctowl is, though. Like, it's going to live this Thunderbolt and get off another move, which makes things pretty uncomfortable. Lives the Thunderbolt, gets off a move. I know I can live this, so I'm debating whether I want to shield or not. I decided to let it go. The concern here is I might get, like, Mudshot down, but he actually comes in with Altaria. And knowing that there's a Swampert, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, how do I close out this game? I know I have a Night Slash banked. So what I actually decided to do here is throw my Night Slash, knowing he's not going to shield a Night Slash from Obstagoon. He's going to want to save his shield, knowing this only does a little bit. And then I swap in Altaria. And now he's probably only going to get off one move here. I can safely shield. And there's no way Swampert's going to be able to take us out. Like, even a Sludge Wave, if it was running it, wouldn't KO from here. So we're just going to let these go through. As you see, we could survive 2 Hydro Cannons here pretty comfortably. And we're going to Dragon Breath down. Opponent, unfortunately, does fall with 2 shields. Don't save your shields for the next match, ladies and gentlemen. Use your shields. They do not carry over. A nice win there, and we will skip ahead a bit to the next one. Battle starting. Jara Exus. Once again, a good lead for Mr. Obstagoon. Gonna throw the Night Slash here against Trev. Gonna let this one go through from Trev. And this is like, there's a little bit of nuance here to this, even though it's a dominant matchup and we get the boost here. The fact that they're staying in tells me they're probably double weak to Goon. I actually elect to no shield since I already got a shield and I didn't need to shield there. Gonna go for a Cross Chop to soften this Drapion. I decided to come in with Altaria here. And, I mean, there's already a Trevenant that's been revealed, so my thought process is, like, if there's already been a Trevenant, hopefully whatever's in back, like, isn't another Lantern answer. I would hope that Trev is his hardest counter to Lantern. I get a nice farm down here, so we're in a pretty good-looking situation. Lots of energy on Altaria. We're up a shield. It's a Bastiodon. So we did make the right call to answer the Drapion with our Altaria. If we had met it with Lantern, dude, we would have been kind of screwed. So up a shield. We should be totally fine here. I'm going to shield. Got to use our shields eventually. So we could obviously tank a Stone Edge, but got to shield something. Going for a Surf here. Surf's up, dude. Just chipping away at Basti. Throwing on good timing. In a comfortable spot. We know that the Trevenant is lurking back there. Might be used eventually as like a sacrificial swap. I know I can tank this. I'm actually willing to let it go. And I think I probably just hard swap here, yeah. I hard swap, just calling that he's probably going to combo there with Trev to get my last shield. And then we can actually spark down here and come out with double Surf. So I throw the Surf, which will get the last shield from Mr. Bastiodon. And then with a little bit of style points, a little bit of emphasis, we throw the neutral Thunderbolt. The unnecessary Thunderbolt. And we still end with a shield. So a nice win there. And we continue things on. By the way, this Arlington tournament, man, so stacked, so stacked. I know at least a dozen battlers going that I'm like, oh man, these guys are powerhouses. So this is really good. We save swap a Lantern after a terrible lead, and he swaps in Basti. And I'm like, what the heck? But I know I can flip this matchup, and we're going to do everything we can to flip it with using as few shields as possible. As you see, 3 Surfs just about KOs a Bastiodon. It looks like I am going to shield, just because I know I need switch advantage. Gonna throw the Surf here. And we're still healthy enough where it's not going to be, like, comfortable for Medi to take us down. So in comes Medi. Gonna go for a Surf bait here. And I'm really curious, like, what could possibly be in back. Go for a Thunderbolt here. I do lose CMP, which is unfortunate. Let's see what this is. It's an Ice Punch, and it does KO, so unfortunate. We're in here with Altaria, and I'm predicting it's either like a Sableye or a second Steel type. I'm thinking Sableye or a second Steel type. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I kind of have to shield. This is too healthy for Goon to get rid of this guy. Gonna get off my Sky Attack here. Is Medi going to be willing to commit the final shield? It is. So Medi's going to take us out here, but it is in Night Slash range for our Obstagoon. And he swaps in Scrafty. Oh, boy. I was thinking we won this game or something. No, this ain't happening. Oh, that's a wild team. Wow. Don't know how much more we could have done, except maybe like... Oh, I know what we could have done. After we took out the Bastiodon, we could have aggressively swapped in Altaria to not give the Medi that farm on Lantern. That probably would have been a little bit better. But, again, I didn't think it was going to be ABA Fighter, double weak to Fighter. Weird team. I guess it kind of makes sense, though. Kind of makes sense. Once again, another Noctowl lead. Probably the most common lead I see these days is the Owl himself. Move coming through. Sky Attack. Gonna chip us. And we're gonna actually CMP tie the Noctowl here. Noctowl's gonna let it go. So I can do one of two things. I could let this go and farm down, or I could shield and counter down. This is gonna give me switch advantage. So I'll be able to line my back line the way I want it to. In comes Chip. I throw the wrong move, which is not ideal. Should have thrown the cross chop here, obviously, but it is what it is. Kind of panicked there. In comes Lantern, and this is really awkward. I do some Dragon Breath damage, and then I swap in my own Lantern, because I know Altaria is the key. Altaria is the key here to winning this game. I'm going to bait here with Surf, kind of risky, but our opponent still has both shields. And I do get the first shield, even though it didn't show up. You can see that there was no damage dealt. Thunderbolt. Gonna really chunk away. Only gonna get to one move here, so might as well go for the Thunderbolt. Let's see if he's willing to use his second shield. He's not, which makes sense. And now, I cannot shield this, because I know Machamp will reach a Rock Slide. So I have to save the shield, and now at this point, I'm just committing to fast moves. No point in throwing a charge move unless I get to double. So I'm just committing to the farm down. They don't get there, and now I have double Sky Attack. So I should be good, unless Lantern had a move banked. Unless Lantern has a move banked, but they let it go through, so they obviously did not have a move. And we get the win, dude. Obstagoon, Lantern, Altaria. This was a team that I kind of just thought of in a coaching session with a student who had a, he had been running like the Alolan Ninetales, oh wait, no, the Deoxys Defense Umbreon Shadow Nidoqueen team that Jamie from Palette and others, maybe Smash King, popularized. But obviously with the Nidoqueen debuff, we started trying out some new teams. We didn't seem to get a whole lot of beneficial leads during our sessions, and I just kind of came up with this line based on what we were seeing, with lots of like Steel types in the lead and Noctowls in the back, or Noctowls in the lead and like ghost types. So I think this is a really solid line. Wall Rain, terrific lead for us. We have to make sure we maintain switch advantage if possible, because we don't want Altaria lined up. So what I decide to do here is I swap in Altaria. We don't have an obvious answer to Gliscor on our team. You're going to see Gliscor can like pretty much flip this matchup just because it outpaces so much. But however, we know what the lead is, right? Oh, and he boosts. Yikes. That's scary. We know what the lead is. It's a Wall Rain. So if I lose switch, it's not the end of the world, because I still have 2 answers for that Wall Rain. I'm just going to Night Slash right away to try and get rid of this boosted Gliscor, because he's kind of scary. He's kind of scary. I boost myself. I have to give it up, unfortunately, because there's a Medicham. And I think baiting here is kind of unnecessary. So I'm just going to go straight for the Thunderbolt. We're up a shield. We grab a shield. And once again, I know he's probably going to bait, but I feel like I kind of have to respect it. And he goes for it. That's the second person that's gone for it with 2 shields up. Wild. Thunderbolt should just about KO from this range. Knocks out the Wall Rain, and we're in a pretty good spot here because Lantern actually just straight up beats Medicham, even shields. We have been chipped. Actually, don't take that at face value. It's not every shield scenario, I don't believe, but I believe in some scenarios Lantern just straight up beats Medicham. I go for a Surf here because I kind of panic, but I think I could have just gone for the Thunderbolt. And then I swap in Goon. And the thing is, even though Medi like hard counters Goon, it doesn't have any real charge move pressure here. So we actually were able to take down the Medicham with our Goon in the end game, which is kind of funny. And a nice dub. Another nice dub. Let us see. Searching for the next opponent. Komodo. Interesting lead. Obviously, we have to respect their close combat. It would completely obliterate our Obstagoon, but we do outpace to the charge moves, which is nice. So I'm going to go for a cross chop. It lands. Our counter is really adding up here against Komodo. They go straight for the close combat, which really surprises me. I go for a Night Slash because I don't want him to be able to swap out of here, but maybe I could have just farmed down. In comes DD, so I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to preserve my Goon, come in with Lantern as a safe swap. He Psycho Boosts, he dips into Registeel, and this is perfect, dude. This is absolutely perfect, because Lantern does fine here, can really chip away at Reggie, and the Goon that we preserved should be able to kind of clean up the Reggie after it takes out Lantern. And Altaria has a positive matchup against Deoxys defense. So we're looking really good here. Zap Cannon doesn't quite KO. Gonna come in with Goon right away while our opponent is still switch locked. Gonna go for cross chop. Don't really see any point in baiting. We get rid of it, and now we've got Altaria against DD. And I think we're in a pretty good situation. So theoretically, I should shield this first one. I wasn't sure what did more, actually. At this time, a Psycho Boost or a Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, I believe, does slightly more. I know I'm not going to get to 3 charge moves, so if you're wondering why I go to Moonblast, it's because Moonblast has a debuff chance, and I don't think there's any way I get to 3 charge moves here, so that's why I do that. I shield the second Thunderbolt. I really need to live one more move here, but the thing is, even if I don't live this, Goon should be able to counter down before Deoxys. The Altaria and Deoxys simul KO. We still had our Goon alive. So we get the win, man. It's a fun team. The Goon Squad. The Goon Squad. Searching for the next opponent. Who's next? Papito. Goon versus Lant Money. And it's a water gun lantern, which is awkward because, like, I have two better answers for this, so I kind of want to dip out of here. And I decide to do that after landing a Night Slash to chip the lantern. They build up energy, and then they go into a Abomasnow, which is a pretty hard answer to our lantern. However, this isn't the end of the world because our Altaria is avoiding this snowman. And if Altaria avoids this, it might have some really nice play in the back. We've got to wait and see. I'm not going to bother shielding. There's no way I can, like, flip this matchup. I don't think. So I'm not going to bother shielding. I do get to a Thunderbolt, which is pretty nice. It won't quite KO, but it'll put Abomasnow very low into, like, one counter range. So I'm going to come in with Goon. One counter should KO. I really want to save shields for Altaria if possible. So I swap, and then there's a Frost Lasso. Oh, man. Lantern double ice. Yikes. I don't know if there's anything we could have done, really. Don't know if there's anything we could have done this game. This is pretty much hard countered. Because, like, let's say hypothetically we stay in with Goon and we win lead. He just farms us down with Frostman, and that's a sweep. That is a sweep. If we swap Altaria, he probably comes in with Abomasnow anyway. Oh, you know what? Maybe the only win con was actually swapping Altaria. If we swap Altaria and he swaps Abomasnow, that's probably the only win con. Because then he takes us out, we farm down, and Lantern with Spark kind of goes to work against Frost and Lantern. So even in a game like that where we got pretty much hard countered, it's good to think about, like, is there anything we could have done? And I think the other swap actually, like, could have made things tricky for him. Another tough lead. Gonna save swap Lantern, and it's pretty shocking, dude, like how many games we hard lose lead and they don't have an obvious answer to Lantern. Who would have thought Lantern, which is completely walled by grass, is actually like a pretty decent save swap. We take the Psycho Boost. In comes Drapion. This is tough. This is tough because a Crunch will pretty much knock us out. And it's the same pacing, so I was really, like, debating whether I wanted to shield here or not. Maybe I should have, but we're going to come in with Goon. I'm going to take this first move, make him reveal what he's running, and it's just an Aqua Tail, so not going to hurt too bad. I decide I'm willing to take another one, because this will allow me to come out with Energy and Night Slash the Deoxys. And if Altaria has a good matchup against whatever's in back, we could still have a chance here. Going for this Night Slash immediately. This will definitely chip away at Deoxys. Super effective damage. Gets a shield. We swap, and it's a Bastionat. Oh my gosh. I play this out kind of as a troll for a bit. I was asking chat at this time, like, should I play this out? Is there still a win con? But I knew there was no win con at this point. Yeah. I was thinking maybe, like, if Goon could... I was being optimistic. Like, if Goon could somehow counter down, come out with, like, a bazillion energy and, like, boost the Night Slash and they shield, it's like a potential win con. But the thing is, he's got so much energy here on Basti that he eventually is able to just swap out here. And he doesn't even need to shield this Night Slash. And he gets the dub. Tough one. Anything we could have done there, don't really think realistically. Only thing we could have done was try and flip switch against Drapion, but our opponent played correctly and Psycho Boost and then went Drapion. So honestly, he controlled switch, and as long as he maintained switch, I don't think there's anything we could have done that game. Here we go. I think we got one or two more battles. Let us see. Battle starting. Ethan Suave. Ethan's got the swag. Another tough lead. Let's see if we can overcome it. We swap Lantern. And once again, this is not a bad matchup for Lantern. It's a very neutral matchup. I like just going for the Surf to create like a desync in the switch clock. since he's staying in. We shield the Psychic. In comes Gliscor, and this is not bad because we are ahead energy by quite a bit. And 2 Surfs, as you see, will definitely KO Gliscor. So we're at least going to get a shield back here. I lose CMP. Let's see if I decide to shield or not. I do decide to shield, and it is an Earthquake. Gonna go for another Surf here. Is Gliscor gonna commit its final shield? It is. And then check this out. I swap. The Gliscor, I think, was spamming the Earthquake, and we get a bit of a lucky catch. I think our opponent did have time to react there, but they were just kind of going for it as soon as possible. And we get a pretty lucky catch. Very fortunate. Going for a Sky Attack here against Knock. Hoping I can get off 2 before they take me out. Unfortunately, they're going to get here first, but we they undercharge. They undercharge and we live. I think our opponent was just overthinking this game. I don't think they should have undercharged that, because now I'm going to swap in my Lantern. They swap in Gly. I'm going to overfarm here to try and have energy for Medicham. And I think I commit to the Thunderbolt, which will put this Medicham really low, where we should be able to close this game out. Thunderbolt lands, and a couple of sparks after get the job done. Let's go. Yo, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and comment down below. All comments are appreciated. That said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Stay tuned for part 2 with the Goon Squad.